welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here today at the Becker County Museum, along with three women who are very influential in our community and have been very key at bringing the legacy destination designation to Detroit Lakes, giving us that designation. And we're going to talk about the legacy designation and some of the uses that these women representing their entities have brought to Detroit Lakes. Some of the things that the Legacy Amendment has been used for, the legacy funds. The Legacy Act of 2008 designated money to go towards cultural events, and our community has been very fortunate that we have been able to utilize these funds, and thus the Legacy Destination Weekend here in Detroit Lakes, May 17th through the 19th, and it's going to be a great time in Detroit Lakes. Mary Haney from Detroit Lakes Public Library, Amy Degerstrom, of course, from Becker County Historical Society Museum, and Amy Stearns from the Historic Home Theater are here with me today, and I know that each of these women have been on TV3 in their various roles as directors of their organizations, but I'm so proud to be standing here with them today and talk about some of the things that are coming to Detroit Lakes, that have come to Detroit Lakes and has made us this hub of cultural activity and conservation as well. And first off, Amy, since you are the host of this Hometown Happenings, I'm going to have you talk a little bit about some of the Legacy Amendment projects that you have worked with and some of the grants you've gotten. We're standing our backdrop today, in fact, is one of those Legacy Act exhibits that you have.
Yeah, it sure is. We have had a wide variety of things here at the Historical Society, anything from conservation of objects to collections maintenance, so archival boxes and supplies and all those things that are kind of behind the scenes. But we were really happy that we now are having kind of more visible legacy activities going on in traveling exhibits. And so the one that is behind us here is Minnesota on the Home Front, and this comes from the State Historical Society, their Exhibits to Go program. And these exhibits travel around the state. They go to each place for about 6 to 8 weeks, depending upon the schedule, and this exhibit will be here through May 19th, so through that destination weekend. We'll have a last chance viewing party, kind of last hurrah party on the 19th from 10 in the morning till noon, and during that time we'll have some refreshments, we'll have some music, we'll have some activities going on for families and adults alike that have to do with Becker County on the home front, so you can see how our history ties into the broader history of the state. And we'll also be hosting historic walking tours during this weekend. So each day, 17th, 18th, 19th at 1 o'clock, we'll do a historic walking tour of downtown Detroit Lakes. We'll start at the old post office building, now the school administration building, at 1 o'clock each of those days. And those are $5 suggested donation, but anybody is welcome to come, so don't let it stop you if you don't have $5 in your pocket. And we are going to talk a little bit about the buildings and the businesses and the sort of beginnings of our city and how it's changed over time, and we'll end at the library.
Excellent. Amy Degerstrom from the Historical Society here in Detroit Lakes, the museum. Detroit Lakes has been designated as a legacy destination this year among some other communities in the state, and Explore Minnesota has put together a great little, promotion for the state, and each weekend, I think through September, community is highlighted, and I believe Detroit Lakes is kicking it off. And it's because the library, the museum, and the historical theater has been, working with these legacy funds. And Mary, what are some of the activities? What are some of the programs you've had come in through the legacy?
Well, we've been really lucky, Carol, because we cover all aspects of the legacy funds. We've had arts events, historical events, and culture. We've had everything from art and architecture. We had architect Sarah Susenka come and speak. We had journalist, I just forgot her name. Thank you, Roxana Saberi, polar explorers, and all kinds of different performers, from storytellers, nature storytellers coming to talk to children and share things with them, to some other cultures that are now found in Minnesota. We've had an Indian musician. Last week we had some dancers and dance music from the Latin community. So we've covered a wide variety of things. We've been very fortunate to partner with both the Historical Society and the Historic Homes Theater to carry some of these off. It's been a wonderful opportunity for us to work together.
Right, Mary Haney from Detroit Lakes Public Library, who also has a show on TV3. I wanted to say on Happenings. You can catch her as well. And also we've got Amy Stearns here from the Historic Home Seder. And Amy, tell us about some of the things that you've brought to the community through the Legacy Funds.
Sure. Well, we've just been such a happy, lucky recipient of quite a few different grants that have been available for us to apply for through the Minnesota State Arts Board and some other ones that we've been able to tap into. And so we've had a variety of different groups, Larry Yazzie and his Native Pride dancers, Tonic Sofa, some of the speakers that Mary has brought in. We hosted at the theater because the crowd would be too big. The Yam Ensemble that we had just a couple of weeks ago, even our Homespun show, that was our 10th anniversary show, we tapped into some legacy dollars to have a small grant for that. And so it's just been such a boon for us in terms of being able to bring in more Minnesota artists and then also to be able to do some other things in our community. And so it's just been a wonderful event, and we've been working with the Chamber of Commerce for this Legacy Weekend and these ladies, and we're excited for the Legacy Weekend coming up. We're going to be kicking it off on May 17th with Park Fest, which is our annual celebration of spring and summer, and we have all the mosaic windows on display that Becky Mitchell has been working with. She's worked with about 1,500 kids this year, designing these windows, mosaicing the windows. Each little kid gets a little 5x5 that they get to take home. And then the big windows will be on display at the pavilion and for sale. And that's also part of the whole Legacy Weekend and Legacy grants that we've received. So it's just been a wonderful way to be able to access more arts and bring more different activities like that to Detroit Lakes.
Amy Stearns from the Historical Theater here in Detroit Lakes. We're talking about the Detroit Lakes being designated as a legacy destination this May 17th through the 19th, and we're going to take a really quick break and be back with more after this. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here with Mary Haney, Amy Diggerstrom, and Amy Stearns. They're from our cultural community here in Detroit Lakes, celebrating Detroit Lakes as a legacy destination. First off, I wanted to also say that the Chamber of Commerce and the North Country Hiking Trail are involved in Legacy Destination Weekend, May 17th through the 19th. It's also the Festival of Birds that weekend, and also the North Country Trail has a hike that weekend too, but they have been instrumental in utilizing these funds for culture and conservation are the two C words. But Amy, as we wind things up here, I want to talk to you about what is a sort of process that you have to go through to bring these legacy events into the community?
Sure. For the Legacy Destination Weekend, we all worked with the Chamber of Commerce, and they were kind of the leaders on writing the grant. So these are grant programs. They are available through many organizations, including the State Historical Society, State Arts Board, regional arts boards, all get kind of funding from this Legacy Amendment. And then anyone in these organizations can apply for those grants. So that's kind of a tedious process sometimes, but it's a matter of answering questions about how it fits into kind of the scope of legacy funding. So is it an arts cultural event, history event? And how can you use that to engage your community and to involve your community in those types of events? And so it's a really awesome program. It's a wonderful thing, and we can thank everybody in the state for voting for that and for supporting us, because really all of you are supporting all of these things that we can bring to you because of that amendment.
Right, very good. Well, and I want to thank you three for your work involved with the community and leaving a great legacy with what you do, with what your organizations do for the community, and making it a great place to live and getting that culture into our lives. And I want to thank you, Mary Haney from the library, Amy Diggerstrom from the museum, and Amy Stearns from the theater. And that is Hometown Happenings for TV3. I'm Carol McCarthy.